With a little bit less than a week to the hard opening, Universal Orlando Resort has dropped the POV for their highly anticipated intimate launch coaster, VelociCoaster. While the ride has been testing for months and soft opened, this is the first set of official HD footage, so let's dive in and break it all down. Before we jump in, I usually have this for the end, but a sub and a like on the video would be a huge help, and thank you to all the support I've gotten in my first year here, and I can't wait to keep these videos coming for you guys. Anyway, here we go. To begin, the ride starts with a 0 to 50 mph launch into a small in-moment, the first of 4 inversions, before diving back down through the rockwork and up into the second inversion, a dive loop. This dive throws riders into the Raptor paddock, where the train takes a sharp right followed by a twisted airtime hill and dives back down to the left. The train continues to weave left then right through the rockwork, plants, and raptors with plenty of near-miss elements. Another right turn past more raptors and through the rocks leads to a swoop into the second launch, this time a boost from 40 to 70 mph. This booster launch sends riders skyward up the massive 155-foot tall top hat, the ride's iconic drop. Now riders are then thrown over the drop at 80 degrees past the queue entrance and into a 0G stall, holding riders upside down, supplying some great hang time. Then the train starts the first of 2 laps around the bridge, completing a wave turn, then a twisted airtime hill, another airtime hill, and a speed hill. The trains exit the double helix by a heartline roll or barrel roll. Afterwards, the train pop up into the right and then the left for some quick pops of airtime before hitting the brakes, all coming to an end in around 60 seconds. So let's highlight some of the standouts from this layout. Starting with the inversions, the in-moment looks to be easily the weakest of the 4, mostly due to the fact it's not really a full inversion, it's more of a half turnover. Then the dive loop should be pretty good, and both will have the rock work and theming to boost them up a bit. On the other hand, the stall and the roll look absolutely insane. Since this was being constructed, the stall was hailed as the highlight of this ride, and it should sustain and take riders right over the bridge and pathway. The hang time on this should be really crazy when paired with how fast the trains will be taking the element. While the stall may have been thought to be king, I think I'm now leaning on that last roll. Nicknamed the Mosasaurus roll by the park, this barrel roll really seems to whip riders in the off-ride footage. Extremely pleased to see how fast the second half of this coaster seems to be running, with plenty of speed heading into the brakes, which was kind of the only worry about this ride, was would it have that speed at the end. Speaking of speed, let's talk about launches. Now, these two shouldn't be overly extreme, and probably won't compare to the intimate launches you can think of like the accelerator model. That being said, both should supply a nice kick for riders, and paired with the theming elements should make them feel that much better. The final part of this layout that really needs to be mentioned is the apparent airtime moments. Looking at the first half of the coaster, there appear to be 4 moments or so, depending on which of those turns really pop riders up for some quick ejector. Now, although that section appears to be more focused on the environment than those airtime moments, they should still give riders a nice short pop. And then the second half is absolutely filled with some great looking moments. The top hat should throw riders out of their seats, especially in the back row. The twisted airtime hills and the helix around the bridge should give some nice off-axis thrills, and then the speed hill looks like it's absolutely hauling. It won't be long, but I'm guessing it should be a very intense pop of ejector airtime. Now moving to perhaps the best part of this insane ride, we have the theming. Starting with the queue, riders will walk through an immersive Jurassic World experience. This includes passing raptor statues, seeing the ride launch next to animated raptors, appearances from the cinematic characters played by Chris Pratt and others, as well as some of the most lifelike animatronics I've ever seen. The raptor heads blink, snarl, shake, and they really just look movie perfect. Now, after the queue, the riders will board some pretty awesome trains. Now, many guess the park may go with a raptor-themed car, or even the original Jurassic Park Jeeps, but instead we got a futuristic off-road looking train that really matched the ride and the area's aesthetic. Now, easily the best part of these trains have to be the on-ride audio and the light package, which looks incredible when the sun goes down, with those bright blue lights going in and around the layout. Finally, during the layout, there's no lack of theming either. The first half, the train dives up, in, and around the Raptor paddock, where it had near misses with some of the most detailed rock work we've seen on any roller coaster. Pair that with some stationary raptor statues and a rapid pace, and that should make one hell of a first half. Now the second half doesn't really feature much theming except for the setting over the water itself, which is really more than enough for me. I kinda like how the ride seems to split between an immersive experience like Hagrid's in the first half, and then an all-out thrill machine in the second half. So overall, it looks like Islands of Adventure has another winner on their hands, especially with this ride beating the opening of Iron Gwazi, despite it being slated to open a whole year later, originally before the pandemic. Now, I cannot wait to get down to the park and experience it for myself, so when are you gonna go ride this beast? If you want some more POV layout breakdowns, check out the playlist or my channel. If you want more daily content, head on over to Island Coasters on Instagram. So till next week, that's all from the shores of Island Coasters.